Triangles are a great way for a beginner to start getting a lot of submissions, even in competition. They're the best upper body submission that you can get because we get not only a strangle, which is much better for a stubborn opponent than a break, somebody who won't want to go out easily, but we also get the break too. We usually get an armbar or a Kimura with a triangle. So it's really beneficial for a beginner to start learning triangles. And what better way to start than out of a bad position that most of you are going to be in when you're starting jiu-jitsu. So you're going to be in a side control. I want to show you how to move from this defensive position where you're totally locked out and you're stuck in this side control, and you're going to move into the attack and you're going to get a really nice triangle out of here. It's one of my best moves. It's one of the ones I've been doing the longest in my career. I'm going to show you it right now. So what we're going to need to do first is get a side guard. So a side guard is where I bring my knee and elbow together, and it's going to make it so that we cause extension on our partner, and he's going to actually start trying to hold onto us, and that's going to be able to create an opening so that we're going to be able to get a triangle. So what we're going to do is bring our elbow to the inside. We want to be able to make space against his hip, and then we want to shift our hips out, turn our knee inverted, and dip our leg inside. If I just try to go like this, I won't get it in. So I invert my knee, I put it inside, and now I have this shield where I can start pushing him away from me. I want to go here because if Juice sits back, he could actually get a heel hook on me. So just for safety's sake, we go foot to foot and we start extending them out. Now I hold onto his head. I don't want him to leave the position. If he's still holding on to me and I haven't broken his grip just through the extension, I'm going to take my hand inside. I'm going to grab a 10-finger grip and pop it open. Now I'm holding onto his head. I move to an inside wrist grip. This is important. I want it like this, not like this. If I do it like this, he brings his hand towards his chest, and that takes away the opening that I need for the one in, one out scenario for a triangle. If I hold it this way, the only way you can take it away from him, or you can get his hand back, is to take it away from his body, and that makes an even bigger circle for me. So when I'm holding it this way, it makes it much harder for him to take his hand away, and if he does, it's gonna create an even bigger opening for the triangle. So I'm pushing him away, I'm holding this, I bring my knee to my chest, and I throw the other one, and I just need it to connect over top of this trap and shoulder area. Now I want to connect my knee and my foot together. And now I hold on to my knee. So now if Juice tries to go forward on me, he can't. He tries to go backwards, he can't, and I'm holding on to this. He tries to posture up, which is what happens most often. This creates space for me to take this out. I bring it to my chest, and I just fire it over for a trap triangle. So we don't have the triangle lock, we don't have a submission, but we have a trap triangle. We have the beginnings of all the different triangles. So now I'm holding onto his head to make sure he doesn't posture away. And our number one thing is to cut the shoulder out of the strangle. You'll see a lot of times, even in high-level UFC fights, people will just go into a triangle from right here where I'm totally facing my opponent. This doesn't get rid of the shoulder. You can see it. It's in here. We need to get this out so that it's flush against his neck. So what we want to do instead of trying to just pull on the head and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, we're actually going to open our legs up. We have the confidence to open our legs because we're holding his head. And now I'm gonna go underneath. I'm gonna hook his leg. If his leg is back, if he swirls his leg back and I can't reach it, I'll go to his arm. So there's always gonna be something for you to open your legs and pivot off of. So I can grab his arm or his leg, and I open my legs, I turn, and I try to get my knee underneath his ear. We wanna get it under his ear. If it's over top, it's not gonna be as tight. So I get it underneath his ear, and now I've cut the shoulder out of the strangle. If you see this, when I close my legs, the shoulder's no longer involved. And when I close my legs, I don't even have to do a full triangle. It's already coming on really tight. So this is all the squeeze you would even need to actually finish it. So one more time. He's starting in side control. I get my side guard, I dip my knee. I start extending him out, I push foot to foot. If I need to, I go to a 10-finger grip, pop it open. I start bringing my knee to my chest, and I connect my knee and foot. I grab over top of my knee so that he can't slither his arm out. He tries to take his arm out here. It's very hard for him. I go and grab this inside wrist grip so he has to pull it away if he wants to get it back at all. Now he starts to come up in posture, which is what most people do. I take this out, I fire it over for a trap triangle, and now we need to get the shoulder out of the strangle. So we start rotating around the corner. We put our lock on the arm side. And now I put our knee underneath of his ear. We lock, and it takes very, very little pressure to get an insanely tight strangle. Okay, so the next one, we're gonna go up a step. We're gonna go back in time a little bit to before you got pinned. So the same rules apply. We always wanna have some kind of shield between our opponent and us. We don't want them to have all the inside position. That's how we get pinned. So if our opponent is trying to pass us, we usually wanna connect that knee shield, the side guard, before they even get to that position where they've already gotten us in a pin. So he's gonna come around to the side, And I'm just gonna be doing good guard retention, and I put my side guard together. He comes down and tries to grab me. Now I have my side guard in, but he doesn't have a full pin because he never got into that inside position in the first place, since I had my side guard first instead of having to do it after. Now that I have this, I bring my other knee inside of his extended arm and I put it into his armpit, and then I overwrap. So now it's very hard for him to leave this position. He tries to come out, he can't move, and he also can't come forward. I have a really good way of stopping him from doing anything he wants here. Now, what we're gonna do is take this leg that's on the hip, and I'm gonna actually pivot my body out in this direction. And now I'm gonna slide this leg out and I'm gonna pull him into me. And now I have my knee underneath of his ear, and I'm gonna take this arm and put it around his back. I keep coming around until we're parallel to each other again, almost. And now I lock my legs, I pull this arm towards me, and this comes on insanely tight. This is a reverse triangle for Japanese. Gyaku Sunkaku. This is actually probably the most intense strangulation pressure of any triangle that there is in the game. A lot of people don't use them, but they're very, very good. So again, he's coming around, he's trying to pass me. He wants to grab me and get into a pin, but I'm doing a good job with my guard retention, and I have a side guard immediately. So I've stopped him at this level. I can take my other knee, bring it inside, and open it up. Now I'm holding on to his tricep. He can't leave backwards, and he can't come forwards. Now what I'm gonna do is quickly extend this leg, pivot off, shoot my leg through, and pull him into me. As he gets pulled into me, I'm starting to lock my legs here. I bring my other hand out to the outside to make sure that he can't start posturing up. I'm holding him into me, and now I just squeeze, and it comes on insanely tight. So we're gonna show this next one from a half guard. It's gonna be very similar in setup to the one that we showed first, but I wanna show it from a half guard as opposed to most channels where you see it from a closed guard, because I think a half guard is much more accessible for a new person. For a closed guard, I have to get my legs all the way around both sides of the body, and people did not want to go in a closed guard. They hate getting stuck here. They feel like standing up is a danger to them, trying to pass is a danger to them, and I have all the offense and they have none. So it's much more accessible for a new person to just get two legs around one in any scenario. So we're gonna show this from here. And one of the most common reactions that your partner is gonna give you is they're gonna put their arm through and try to weave. So they're just gonna put this here. It really doesn't help them. It does work in the gi, but it doesn't work really in no gi, but people do it all the time. I don't know why. They should be controlling my head, they never do. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab the outside of their tricep. You're not gonna scare them, you're just gonna lightly grab it here. You're gonna grab an inside wrist grip so you already have it. And most people are just gonna allow you to have this because they don't feel like they're in much danger. So what you're gonna do now is you're gonna shoot your leg really quickly through the hole as you pull them. So I'm gonna take my top leg and I'm gonna shoot it and pull. So once I've shot and I've pulled, I bring my knees all the way back up to my chest immediately, like this. And I throw my foot again over his shoulder and trap. So once I have it over his shoulder and trap, I take this outside hand and I wrap my knee so that he can't slither his arm out, and now we're in business. He tries to move backwards, he can't. He tries to go forward, he can't. The only thing that he's gonna try to do is posture up, and when he does, that gives me space to pull this leg out. I fire it over the top, and again, we go to pivot and take the shoulder out of this triangle. So I'm gonna grab if I can't grab his leg, like in this case, I grab his arm, I hold onto his head so I can open my legs. I have the confidence to open them. He can't posture, it's okay. So I start pivoting out in this direction. I get my knee under his ear like we talked about. The shoulder is now out of this triangle, and I lock. It doesn't even have to be a figure four. It could literally be here, and it would still be tight enough. Okay? Once more. We're in a half guard. Your opponent arm weaves. They think that for some reason this is shutting things down, but it's giving you a perfect opportunity to go into a triangle, and it's very fast as you get practiced at it. So we'll do it quickly this time. I just shoot through, pull my knees to my chest. Now we have my foot over his shoulder. Makes it hard for him to posture up. Only at my pace is what he can do it at. And now I'm holding over my knee, and I have this inside wrist grip. Now he tries to posture up a little bit, takes my leg out. I just shoot it over for the trap triangle, and now I start pivoting. I grab the arm since the leg is far away. I open up, I pivot out, get rid of the shoulder out of the strangle, and lock my legs tight for the win.